Today, I'm going to be trying to win the Premier League without losing a single game, but there's a twist. I'll be managing Burnley, a team expected to get relegated, and to make being invincible harder, I'm not even allowed to make my own transfers. Instead, I'll be spinning a wheel, and each time we do, we'll get given one former Ballon d'Or winner from football history to add to our team, with the hopes that we can eventually create a side able to go invincible. And each season, we'll set a challenge. If the team can hit it, they'll get 2 spins of a wheel and 2 new players, but if they fail, they'll only get the 1. And I'll hope those players can help take our Burnley team predicted to be relegated to eventual title champions. But right now, the squad isn't looking great. Our best player by far is an ageing Kyle Walker, whilst Dutchman Zian Fleming is considered one of our best attackers, and Frenchman Maxime Esteve is considered our best defender. Now, they're not terrible players, but they're not exactly good enough to win a Premier League, never mind go invincible, and to make our lives harder, every other team in the league is a little bit better than they should be. Because all the other legends are at their clubs, like Manchester United having George Best, and legendary striker Dixie Dean at Everton. So not only are we managing one of the weakest teams in the league, but every other team is better than they are currently in real life. So it's going to be a real challenge. So for the first year, all I'm asking is if our Burnley players can stay up in the Premier League, they'll get 2 spins of the wheel, and if not, we'll only get 1. And as expected, this year was pretty tough. Not only did Liverpool set the bar with a 93 points total, but we finished all the way in 18th place. Not the worst team in the league, but only 3 points away from being that, and with 6 points away from safety. Our Burnley players tried, but they didn't exactly do a great job. So we failed our challenge in Season 1, and now I get 1 spin of the wheel to add a Ballon d'Or winner to our team. And as you can see, I've got the wheel on my screen here, so we're going to spin it and see who we get. And here we go, the first player we are adding to our lineups is, not bad, R9. And just like that, we add one of the world's best ever strikers to our club. Burnley will have Ronaldo starting up front for them, but is he going to be enough to help a very poor side stay in the Premier League? Well, I'm certainly going to hope so, and we will do our best to play to his strengths to try and get the most out of him as we possibly can. I'm going for a pretty attacker-heavy formation with the tactic we're playing, the reason being that most of the Ballon d'Or winners in history have been attackers. In fact, only one keeper has ever won the award, and defenders you can count on one hand. So to make up for that, any defender that's finishing the top 3, the likes of Van Dijk and Maldini, have been added to the wheel as well. But if we want to get any of them players, we need to earn our spins. So the challenge for this next season is as simple as it was last year. Stay up. Can Ronaldo make the difference? I guess only time will tell. And whilst it's safe to say our team is still pretty terrible, R9 was certainly a bright spark and did as much as he could to help keep us up. He was our team's top goal scorer and managed to add quite a few goals this year, and any time that we won a game, it was always R9 that was doing the business for us. And come the end of the season, with 1 game to play, we were still in a relegation fight and we needed a win to stay up. The only issue was, we were against the champions in Liverpool. On 97 points and only a win away from reaching 100, they were dominating the league and went 1-0 up against us early on, and it looked like relegation was likely until a late Ronaldo penalty equalised. But we needed the 3 points, and in the 94th minute, in true Ronaldo fashion, carrying an injury, he managed to score from close range to get us the win, and that win was just about enough to keep us up. In fact, we finished on 37 points. If we got the draw, we would have been okay, but if we were to have lost, we would have been relegated alongside Forest and Wolves. And despite Ronaldo scoring plenty, he wasn't the league's top goal scorer. He scored 26, meanwhile Haaland, Dixie Dean, Dennis Law and Paolo Rossi, signed by Liverpool, have outscored him. And as you would expect, he was by far and away our best player, managing to chip in with 29 goals in 40 games in all competitions. Marcus Edwards tried, bless him, but he was getting nowhere near R9's total, and it is proved that if you can add a star player to your ranks, it can definitely help. And now, because we stayed up, we're going to get 2 spins of a wheel and 2 new Ballon d'Or winners for our team. So let's give that wheel another spin and see who we're going to add to our lineup, and it is, Gerd Muller. And arguably with him, we'll have the most deadly strike force to have ever played in football, but we're going to get to add another player still because we did hit our challenge. Now I'm hoping maybe it won't be another striker and we can add a winger or something, and we land on, is that Van Dijk? No, Modric. So a bit of a mix here. We get one of the best midfielders of the most recent generation and a very recent Ballon d'Or winner in the grand scheme of things in Luka Modric to our lineup with excellent first touch and passing ability. Modric in his prime is going to be unbelievable in the midfield. And then a player from a bygone year as we managed to bring Gerd Muller into our lineups, who is arguably one of the best strikers you'll see in Football Manager here. With 20 finishing, he's going to prove to be an unreal striker, I'm sure. And with them three in the team, it looks unbelievable, right? R9, Muller and Modric in our lineup. That team looks almost unbeatable until you add everyone else and you realise our best team features Hjalmar Ekdal at the back alongside Jordan Bayer, a German 24-year-old. Decent players, but they are not comparing to our Ballon d'Or winners by any means. But those guys are clearly having an impact because we're now predicted to finish in the top half. 10th place is the expectation. 200 to 1 odds of winning the title means it's still a long way off. But in this year, in our third try, I'm going to say if we can get that top half finish in the top 10, I'll give our team another 2 spins. If we fail, it'll only be the 1. But can adding Modric and Gerd Muller to our team make the difference? You'd certainly hope so. So now our Burnley team featured 3 Ballon d'Or winners, and I was hoping that would mean a much better season in the league. But before you find out if it was, if you are enjoying the video up to this point, if you're still with us, make sure you smash that like button for me and subscribe for more content like this on the road to 50k subs and hopefully even further after that. Thank you for any of the support, but let's see if those 3 can carry Burnley to a title win. And well, it certainly had an effect because Ronaldo was still scoring his customary goals, but now instead of playing with Manuel Benson, we had Modric linking up with him and of course Gerd Muller able to score from close range. And suddenly, our team was winning matches, like that one against Liverpool, away at Anfield, we beat City at home too, but unfortunately, some of the other players let us down on big occasions, and whilst we were hitting on some games, there was a lot of misses too. And it led to a very middle of the table finish, as we ended up in 10th place on 55 points, 2 points more than Crystal Palace, but still a long way away from any kind of high European challenge, with 4 teams reaching over 80 points. Arsenal winning the league this time, having signed Eusebio in this world. That's certainly not a bad player to add to their ranks, but the main thing is where we're focusing our team is we finished in the top half, and that of course means we're going to get 2 new spins of the wheel next time. And the more of these stars we can add, the better, because clearly it makes a difference. Gerd Muller and Ronaldo managing over 25 goals each, and whilst he wasn't the best player in the team, Luka Modric was still dictating the tempo and proving to be a big player. And it looks like the attack is not going to be a problem for us, as we ended up being the 3rd highest scorers in the league, only a few away from the title winners. But defensively, we're in desperate need of some defensive reinforcements because we conceded 73, only bettered by the teams relegated. And I'm really hoping in the next 2 spins of the wheel that we've earned, we manage to get a defender, or maybe even Yashin in goal. He's our one and only keeper in the list, so hopefully at some point we get him. But let's see what we can add. And for our next spin, let's see who we're going to get. Our first one of our double pick, and it is VVD. Virgil van Dijk, a perfect player to add to our lineups. And for anyone that hasn't watched every minute of this video, yes, he didn't win a Ballon d'Or, but he was in the top 3 actually not too long ago. I think he finished 2nd to Lionel Messi at one point. But Van Dijk is an incredible pull for us to have in our team, an experienced central defender with great ability, and definitely what we needed in a team that's been leaking goals for fun. But we get another pick still, and this time we're going to get Stanley Matthews. I've heard the name, I don't know much about him. After doing a bit of research, supposedly he was the first ever Ballon d'Or winner. But all I care about is what we're looking at in game, and it is a 5-star right winger with 20 crossing, 20 dribbling, and he's extremely quick too. He could be incredible to have in the match engine, and that, I mean, for 2 picks, a top draw right winger and one of the best centre backs, I cannot complain about that. And the team is definitely starting to come together now. Van Dijk, Modric, Matthews, Muller and Ronaldo. There's a quality player in every area of the pitch. I think honestly, if we can add another midfielder, maybe 1 extra defender, maybe a goalkeeper too could be quite useful, we could be getting close to the Invincible mark. For now though, I'm hoping this team is at least good enough to challenge for Europe. Those players are amazing, but the ones around them are championship level. So how it's going to balance out, I'm not sure, but maybe the addition of a strong centre-back like Van Dijk can calm that defence down, and maybe we can get to Europe. That's the aim. And just as I was hoping, with the new players added to our lineup, our team kicked it up a gear. Van Dijk was helping out at the back, but was also crucial from set pieces, scoring from corners, and whilst I gave him a lot of plaudits out of the two that we got, Stanley Matthews was incredibly good. His electric pace meant that he could burn past defences like they weren't there, and he scored a ton of goals. And in games where we really struggled for the ball, he was a great outlet to have on the wing, using that pace to get past defences, and he was always finding the net. But were those additions enough to get us into Europe? Kind of. I mean, just about. When I said it, I kind of wanted top 6, but technically we have achieved Europe, finishing in 7th and getting a Conference League place with 19 wins this year, 11 draws and 8 losses. Actually, loss-wise, it was pretty good. Meanwhile, United only lost 1 game all season, but we finished 5 points ahead of our closest competitors, and another win here or there could have seen us in a Champions League place. Goals-wise, we are absolutely sorted in the attack. I actually hope we don't get another attacker in those spins, because we're scoring 97 goals in a single season, over 10 more than our closest competitors. But defensively, whilst Van Dijk did help a little bit, it's really not making all that much difference. A lot of it will be the tactical side of things as well. Maybe I need to shift something there. But as for right now, we have done exactly what was expected. We added Van Dijk and Stanley Matthews, we achieved Europe, and I think that sets our sights on our next challenge of trying to finish in the top 4. Do that, it's another 2 spins, but for now, we've got another 2 players to add to this team. Before I spin the wheel though, I am just going to take a second to let you know if you want to play with these legends yourself, you can get access to the save files from these videos on my Patreon, which is linked down below, and it is the best way to support me as a creator. You don't just get the save files, in return you get early access to the videos, you can have your name in the videos as the new gen players, and you can even vote for the kind of video that you're going to see next. So plenty of stuff over there, you're able to talk to me on there as well if you need any FM advice, but that is the best place to support me, so thank you to anyone who checks it out. But let's check out our 2 spins. Now I'm really hoping, to be honest, for another one of the defenders here, but I'll take anything, although an attacker won't be the best, and unfortunately we've got one. I mean, he's okay, but it's Michael Owen. Still a great player and one that I should not turn my nose up at, particularly with what he's got in Football Manager, the 20 acceleration, the 20 pace, and the 20 finishing. Having Michael Owen in his prime, I mean, he was the youngest Ballon d'Or winner ever, right? Or at least definitely one of them. So I'm happy with the addition. I think it's just the later parts of his career that made me think, oh, maybe he's not that good, but he is. He is a real talent when he's in the prime of his game. And at least now we've got another striker in case Muller or Ronaldo gets injured, or even just off the bench. We've now got 3 of an elite level. But I definitely want to move on now to a midfielder or a defender, anything like that, even a goalkeeper, and we land on Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. I've almost certainly pronounced that wrong, and I'll be honest, it's because I don't know him. A big player in the late 70s by the looks of it, he won back-to-back Ballon d'Ors whilst at Bayern Munich, and despite the fact that I don't really know too much about the guy, as far as we're talking in Football Manager, he's an elite level striker, an unreal player to add to our lineups, and to be honest, even though we have now got an overload of strikers, it doesn't mean he can't play on the wing, and I think he could do a good job there based on the fact that he's at least okay, he's accomplished in the position, so let's put him in there. I don't actually control who goes where during the course of the season, but it looks like right now Michael Owen is considered the one that doesn't make the starting lineup. But his pace off the bench could be unreal to have, and one thing we need to remember as well is we're taking him off of someone. We're taking him off of Liverpool, we weaken them a little bit and we definitely strengthen ourselves. And having got Europe last season, I think the next step to me has to be top 4. With this kind of team, I fully expected to be able to do it, but of course there is the big issue that everyone else around them are still terrible. I mean, Josh Cullen is our midfielder alongside Modric. He's not exactly a Ballon d'Or level talent. Jordan Bayer still makes it into the team, and our goalkeeper, I mean, does not look great at all. So there's a lot of weak points in the team, despite the stars that we've got. But I'm hoping the good will outweigh the bad, and I feel like Champions League has to be the next aim. And after that, I suppose we move on to the title. And here I was this season thinking having too many strikers was going to be more problems than it was going to be positives. But I was wrong. Having all those options meant we scored a ton. Gerd Muller and Michael Owen proved to be a really nice partnership, with Owen scoring twice in a win against Arsenal, and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge was also scoring a ton of goals as well, so a great addition. But of course, this year we were aiming to finish in a top 4 Champions League spot. The only issue was our final game of the season was one we had to win to make that happen, and we were against Liverpool. They went 1-0 up early on through Tommy Asu of all people, before Michael Owen ran into the left channel and helped us get an equaliser, playing the ball across to Josh Cullen to score. In the second half though, Valderrama was crunched in the box and the ball fell out to Chiesa onto Hughes on the edge of the area, who powered home. And from there, Liverpool started to run away with it. The final game of our season had gone wrong. Chiesa out to Endo, who managed to curl a brilliant goal in. Liverpool weren't done there with the misery though. Already 3-1 up, they came down the right flank, Morton playing it through to Kevin Keegan, who took it onto his left foot and finished well. And at 4-1, a comeback looked extremely unlikely with 20 minutes to play. But we had Ballon d'Or winners, and it was those that helped us get a goal through Muller to make one back. Modric played a long ball over to Michael Owen against his former club, who managed to pull the ball back out to Muller on the edge of the area, who fired home from range. And on the 89th minute, we managed to counter. Michael Owen on the break from Liverpool's own corner found Hannibal Mejbri, of all people. He chipped the goalkeeper. That was 4-4, and unfortunately, that's where it ended. We weren't able to get the win. We only got the draw. And it wasn't enough. It meant we just missed out on a UCL place to Manchester United. And my God, did we deserve it this season. We were playing so well. In terms of goal scoring, we've absolutely smashed the closest competitors. And in terms of goals conceded, we're still really struggling, but those goals were starting to outweigh the ones that we were letting in. We actually finished with a few players in the top goal scorer awards, Michael Owen and Gerd Muller. You might notice someone's missing. And that's our man Ronaldo, who really struggled this year with the new strikers in the team. He only got on the pitch as a starter 4 times, played 21 times off a bench and scored 3 goals. Clearly not happy with being a backup. It didn't work out for him. And it's crazy to me that we actually have a team here where someone like Ronaldo doesn't actually make the starting 11. Imagine having him on your bench at Burnley. But still, as good as we've got an attack, the team is struggling when it comes to stopping conceding. And because we haven't finished in the top 4, it means we only get 1 spin, so we best hope it's a defender. And hopefully this time it's a player that I'll actually know, so I know how to pronounce his name. And there we go, it's a great player, but is Luis Figo the man that we needed in the squad that we've got? Well, unfortunately, it doesn't really matter, because we've got to take him on. We take on one of Portugal's best ever players, a right winger who I guess is going to be depth with Stanley Matthews, both of them excellent in their own right. A set piece whiz as well, either footed, maybe we can even use him off the left. He's going to be a good backup on the wing, if not a starter. In fact, if we go to our best 11 now and ask the game to pick it, there's still some Burnley talent in there, but we're now looking at a front 4, all of our own making. Modric is alongside Cullen, and the only other players left are Hartman, Bayer, Walker, and Latke. I wouldn't even mind keeping Walker there, but everybody else probably needs to go, particularly Cullen and Bayer. I think in the spine of a team, they're really letting us down, and a keeper too could be really good. We've now got Michael Owen on the bench, R9 Ronaldo. I mean, we cannot complain with the players that we've got available. And this team is now predicted to finish in 6th place. I mean, it's definitely possible we could challenge for a title. We always usually do better than our prediction though, so I'm hoping with the fact that the best 11 in the league is filled with our players, that this has got to be the year we can at least make Champions League. That's going to be the aim again. Only then will I move on to title ambitions, but right now, is Luis Figo going to be enough to change our team around and suddenly stop us conceding? Probably not. And for that reason, I've adjusted the tactic. I've moved a few of the roles around, asked us to play more shorter passing and to run at the defence using the ability of our attackers, the dribbling ability that they all have. And I've also asked Walker in that defensive spot to be a defensive wing back as opposed to one that was on support and getting forward. So he should hopefully stick back. Maybe it'll mean less goals conceded. It's a long shot, but this year, it's got to be a European finish in the top 4. It has to be. And with another Ballon d'Or winner added in Luis Figo this year, I really had to prove something with the team because, to be honest, if not, I shouldn't ever be managing players like this if I'm not good enough to even challenge for a title with these boys, never mind getting a top 4 finish. So I was hoping this year would be the one, changing the tactics, adding Luis Figo in. Did it make a difference? I think it did. Figo showed us exactly what he was about, scoring set pieces like this brilliant free kick, and he played his part in a 5-0 demolition of Wolves too. But he wasn't the only one, because overall our team was on fire. We managed to beat a Liverpool side that had Pele up front. Meanwhile, Garrincha and Ronaldinho weren't enough to stop us beating Spurs in a 2-0 victory. And even Chelsea fell as we beat them 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, and they were just a few of many great wins this year that have meant we have finished in 2nd place, not just top 4, but only 3 points away from a title win, and that has to now be our next aim to try and get that victory. Man City won it with 90 points, 87 points for us. The first time we can start thinking about invincibility, we've got 5 losses and 6 draws, so clearly not quite quite there yet. In terms of goals scored, it was less than normal, but in terms of conceded, our tactical changes meant we conceded way less, being the 6th best team defensively, and I'll certainly take less goals for that. It was a real breakout season for good old Karl Heinz on the wing though, as he managed to score 24, Stanley Matthews with 15, Ronaldo got 16 this year, Gerd Muller with 17, the goals very well spread, and even Van Dijk managing to hit 8 in the defence, and Figo definitely was a nice addition with 9 goals, but obviously we're still not there. In terms of winning the title, we're probably a defender, a goalkeeper short maybe, so we're going to spin that wheel and pray somehow we end up on Yashin or, you know, Maldini or something. And to be honest, at this point I could pull Messi, Ronaldo, I wouldn't really want them, I want a defender. Oh, Ronaldinho, such a good player, but is he really what we need? Well, I suppose we're going to find out, because we add the Brazilian to our ranks. At least Spurs won't be able to sign him this time, but we certainly can't complain with adding someone like him to our left wing options. It means we have an out-and-out left winger now, obviously a great player, so much flair, the dribbling ability. The fans will at least enjoy watching him, but is he going to help our team suddenly become invincible? Maybe not. So everyone cross your fingers now for a Yashin. We need a keeper here. I'll certainly take that though. Franz Beckenbauer. And this actually might be the best one we could have got looking at it, because not only now do we get a world-class centre-back, we also get a world-class midfield option in that DM role, so he can do both, and that's really going to help our team in an area where we've struggled, both in DM with Cullen, and obviously centre-back. Van Dijk really had no one of his ability level next to him, but Beckenbauer, maybe the greatest defender to have ever lived, he is going to be a fantastic player to add now. And maybe, just maybe, we can start thinking about going invincible. Now, if you ask Football Manager what it thinks our team needs, it's put Beckenbauer in the midfield alongside Modric, whilst Figo and Ronaldinho are on the wings, and then Gerd Muller and Rummenigge now comes in as a full German strike force. But still, the defence looks really light, and for that reason, I'd be more inclined to put Beckenbauer there. I think I'd just want him at the back in that centre-back role. I can forgive Josh Cullen in the midfield if he's going to be alongside Van Dijk in the defence. But either way, this is a team that has to now be challenging for a title. We already did it last season with Beckenbauer and Ronaldinho available, and now a lot of good players on the bench too. It's got to be a title win. That has to be the aim. If we win the title, then we get 2 spins. If not, we get 1, and we're going to struggle from there on out, because if this team isn't good enough, I don't know what will be. And this year, our Ballon d'Or winners have clearly gelled together. We've got the right mix, whatever it is, because that addition of Beckenbauer and Ronaldinho took our side to totally new heights. Now, not only did we do well in the league, but in the cups too, as we won our first ever trophy of the rebuild, beating Chelsea 3-2 in the Carabao. But our new players were now combining with our old ones for goals, like Ronaldinho with this beautiful free kick, and the leader of the whole team, big Franz Beckenbauer, managing to get into a set-piece routine and head it home from the back post. So not only did we win a trophy in the Carabao, we were on fire in the league. And as we probably should have already done by now, we won the title with 100 points. It's probably the best points tally we've seen yet out of any club. I definitely think it has been in this video. Obviously, we've only drawn 1 game all season against Palace, but there were 4 losses, all away games. Brentford, which I think we should have won, United losing by 3 goals, Liverpool by 1, and Spurs beating us 2-0. So there is still work to be done, particularly in the defence, but in terms of improvements, this is exactly what we needed. Goal scoring, we're now off the charts. We're always going to be the best team for scoring goals. We've conceded 9 more than Man City, the best team defensively. In another world, if we shut out 5 or 6 goals across the course of the season extra, maybe that could have been an invincible year. We were very close to it, but we've hit the 100 points mark, we've won the title, and from here on out, I think the next aim has to be invincibility. But for right now, we've earned it. Another 2 spins, and I am praying that we do not add another striker to this lineup. It's not what we need. We need a centre-back, a left-back, a right-back, whatever we can add to make this team even stronger. But before we see that wheel spin, I imagine at this point we are about to start closing in towards the end of the video. So if you are enjoying up to this point, please do smash that like button. Obviously, it means a lot when you stick this long through a video. So if you're still here at this point, comment down below 100 point Burnley for the season we've just had. But with that being said, let's go and check out who we can add to this team. And at this point, we really are just at mercy of the wheel for how long this goes on for. We're adding Stoichkov now, winner in the 1993 season. He's not exactly someone that I felt we needed in the team, but again, I can't really turn my nose up at it, can I? It's just an extra option to have off the bench, in the reserves, can play off the left, or in striker, so maybe he'll even get a game over Ronaldinho, who knows. He's got a lot of competition though, and I guess it's just another one to add. And this is why I say we're at the mercy of the wheel, because we really need someone good. Oh, Thank God. We've got the goalkeeper, the only keeper in this list. I probably should have added a few more by now, but Yashin, the only official Ballon d'Or winning goalkeeper, is in the net. Why I didn't do what I did with centre-backs, where I added a few of the ones that maybe came close or considered greats, I don't know. But I tried to stick to the Ballon d'Or rules as much as we could, so it meant there was only one guy in that whole list of Ballon d'Or winners, and it is Yashin, the keeper, that we've managed to add, and that just completely changes our team around. I would even go as far as saying, I think we can go invincible now. I think this team is ready to do it, and we've definitely got the talent. The game clearly keeps changing its mind because this year Stoichkov is apparently the striker that we need alongside Muller, Figo and Ronaldo with Modric and Beckenbauer, Van Dijk, and despite a pretty lacklustre defence, we might get away with it now with Yashin in the net, one of the greatest goalkeepers to have ever played. His flat cap is going to be at the back of our defence, and maybe that'll be the difference in what needs to now be an invincible season. If we win the league again, I'll do 2 spins. We'll keep doing 2 spins until we win it, as long as we're winning the league title. But that will even be a failure to me. Right now, winning the league title is good, but we need to go and get the invincible year. And this season, we came flying out the blocks. We won every game for the first few months, not even draws, doing it the proper way. Arsenal, we're looking at you. We won every single match. But as the season started to go on, our players started to get tired and injured and suspended. Things started to go wrong, and it all started with the most random defeat of all. It looked like a normal day against Brighton at their stadium as we went 1-0 up through Stanley Matthews, but apparently Yashin's enemy is Ruta, who managed to score not just one, but actually pounced on an error from the goalkeeper to put a second one past him, and he might have cost us the game. Or at least I thought he might, until Stoichkov stepped on the ball, found Matthews on the right wing, and we were able to get an equaliser as the ball came back across the box to Gerd Muller. And yet, somehow, we still ended up losing. Tyreek Lamptey got down the right wing, and of all people, Divock Origi managed to score. And from there, that seemed to take away our winning mentality, because we ended up drawing a few more matches, and across the course of the season, we lost 3 times. It's technically 1 less loss than before, so maybe that's a good thing, and the losses were pretty close cut, Arsenal and Liverpool away, and that random one against Brighton, but if that had never happened, maybe the others wouldn't either. We have won the title, and that is great, that's 2 free spins, but it is a bit annoying that we came so close and it was Brighton of all people. Our Ballon d'Or level team unravelled by Divock Origi. Explain that to me. But either way, I mean, the attack we've got is insanely good. Stoichkov comes in and hits 22 goals. In terms of a goalkeeper, Yashin was pretty good, but wasn't exactly revolutionary. But it was Gerd Muller who still proved to be our best goal scorer, and whilst Ronaldo was our best player when called upon, he was very rarely called upon, only playing 9 games across the course of the season. It does bother me actually that the assistant is choosing not to use him, because clearly in game, his combination of attributes obviously makes a great player. But here we are in what might be an eternal loop now, as we just try and have that season where we don't lose. We get in 2 spins, and unless it's, you know, Maldini at the back or Cannavaro or something like that, I imagine we're just going to have the same thing over and over again until eventually we get a bit lucky. So it's time for our next set of wheel spins, and let's cross our fingers we get someone useful. Hullet. Marco van Basten, an unbelievable striker, don't get me wrong, but he was wedged between Baresi and Ruud Gullit, who would have perfectly fit our team. Baresi would have gone at the back and Gullit might have been able to push Beckenbauer into the defence, but instead we end up with one of Ajax's greatest players, Marco van Basten, and another striker to add to our unending number of forwards. And this is the problem with a Ballon d'Or not handing it to people of other positions, because we're just going to end up with striker after striker, Kevin Keegan. And you know what? I don't even need to play the guy. Just purely the fact that we're taking him away from Liverpool, maybe that's the good part of all of this, because we take one of their best players and bring him in. But is he going to play for us? I don't know. He might do, he might not. I don't know where he fits in this team anymore. And the game will tell you, apparently he doesn't. He's only on the bench alongside Owen, alongside Rumenige. Of course, we've got Stanley Matthews as well now being pushed to the bench. Ronaldo, Van Basten as well. They're apparently not expected to start. Across the course of the season, I'm sure they'll all get their own game time, but I don't think this team's going to be invincible. If the last team wasn't, I don't see how this makes a difference. And at this point, I was basically feeling like giving up on the challenge. It was taking so long, and every wheel spin was just making our team even less balanced than it was before. The amount of attackers were causing problems across the course of the year, all wanting the same game time. And it just weren't going to happen for us. But there was one man that I misunderestimated out of everyone. A certain striker. And that was Marco van Basten. Anytime we were struggling in a game or we weren't able to get a goal, he seemed to pop up out of nowhere. Maybe because of his height, he was a new kind of striker than what we normally had. And he was scoring goal after goal, and actually, The team that last year lost 3 games were now going into the last few games of the season still unbeaten. And having conquered our demons by beating Brighton away, we had that 3-game run at the end of the year. Spurs, Chelsea and Liverpool. And we managed to beat Spurs. 2 games to go now, and up next was Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And it was the show of one man this time round, as Ronaldinho didn't just score 1, he managed to get in behind to make it 2, and he was there again for another goal to complete the hat-trick and take us within 1 game of getting that invincible status. The only issue was, we were against one of the best teams in the league. As always, we finish off with Liverpool. Now, we had won the league this year, but we were of course aiming for invincibility, and they were the team in 2nd place. We got off to a flyer though in the 50th minute, Ronaldinho hitting the post and it got tapped in. And at this point I thought we'd done it. We were going to go invincible, the job was going to be done, until Florian Wirtz played in Curtis Jones, who scored the equaliser, and now anything could happen. So if we didn't concede again, we'd go invincible. If we managed to score again, we'd go invincible. But if we conceded, it would be over for us. And there was a goal in the 94th minute. As Liverpool attacked, they made a mistake and the ball fell to Kevin Keegan to score the winner against Liverpool, the Liverpool legend managing to put the nail in the coffin and secured us an invincible win. Not only that, we also won the FA Cup this year, managing to beat Liverpool in the final. But the main thing is we have won the Premier League. 104 points, 97 goal difference, 0 losses and 5 draws, a few of which were pretty close calls against teams I wouldn't have expected. Wolves, Everton, Bournemouth, nearly all taking us out. I can understand United and Chelsea in this year, but we have managed to go invincible with Burnley, but it took a real effort. I still think this team is so unbalanced, and that was the reason it was so hard, but it doesn't really matter when you're scoring this amount of goals. You've got to think in this team, we've got Owen scoring 8, Muller scoring 18, Ronaldinho with 25, Stoichkov with 35, Stanley Matthews with 17, and the man I misunderestimated, the best player in the team by a long distance this season, Marco van Basten, came out of nowhere, proved his worth and absolutely smashed it for us. 20 goals, 8 assists. He actually looks like he's improved quite a lot this season as well, so I wonder whether he had high potential in game but low starting ability. And for everyone that's about to comment it, throughout this video, I do not choose these players' attributes. It's a randomized database, I believe, where every time you start it up, players are different ages and ratings. I don't really know, it's not my database, but all of these players are in here. We got a lot of comments the last time we did something like this about the players' ratings. It was not me, but either way, we have done it. We have got invincible with Burnley, with a team of Ballon d'Or winners. Let me know what you'd like to see next. If you want to see another one of these Legends videos, tell me your ideas down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.